NFL insiders are dropping huge reports about how Jackson Smith and Jigba finally going to maybe get enough positive national recognition that he'll maybe get his name spelled right on some trophies. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Seahawks Digest, the show that brings you daily content talking about the Seahawks. I would say that it's about everything good, bad, and in between, but right now it seems to only be good headlines. And that is not echo chamber, like I only listen to good headlines. I got the Google alert set up every morning as I scroll through all of the stuff that is being promoted and published by NFL insiders. I will heavily use the air quotes sometimes on this show. But again, it's only good news right now, and that includes the headlines about our boy, JSN, predicted to make a debut finally in the NFL's top 100 list that they publish every single year. One of the more meaningless but fun lists to talk about because it either validates your fandom or gives you poster board material. So either way, you get something good to talk about. Before we get to that, though, as always, we got to say a thank you to our sponsor for today's video, and that's Prize Picks. Right now, for new users, Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports pick app, they want to hook up Digest users. You got to you hit the link that we got for you to go sign up, use the code DIGEST, and you'll get $50 for free when playing your first $5 in lineups. Helps the channel out, helps you guys out, helps everybody out. The same way Jackson Smith and Jigba helps out the Seahawks offensively to the point at which he is the offensive player of the year. He's the breakout star that nobody saw coming because everybody sleeps on the Seattle Seahawks. Everybody's like, we've talked about this. There's two levels of sleep. There's the East Coast sleeps on the West Coast, and then everybody collectively sleeps on the Pacific Northwest in a way that's just like, they're like confused. Who is this guy? How did they play football there? Okay, I get it. But seriously, though, the NFL's top 100 list is coming out, and this is a list that is always somewhat retroactively reflexive of, like, it's really their top 100 from last year because they made a boo-boo of sleeping on some of these guys, and I get that this is all somewhat of a meaningless pat on the back, but I like the vibes that we're getting when you see people talking about, like Bucky Brooks, you're talking about players who are going to be making the jumps up into this list, and that the Patriots quarterback, Drake May, and Jackson Smith and Jigba are both going to be making massive jumps onto this list. This has happened before with massive leaps where, like, Saquon went from like 98 to first and whatever. So this could be something where he comes in at a top 30, top 20. I guess first thing I'll ask you, I'm always asking, leave comments and whatnot because I like hearing from you guys, but where do you think he will come in at this list? Where do you think he deserves to be? Where do you think he will be? Where do you think he could be by the end of the season? The numbers, they are fantastic for him last season. His dang near 1,800 receiving yards. The seamlessly transitioning line right there, I think, is an interesting point because not only did he have a good season, but he had a good season sort of doing a Swiss Army knife thing where I will be curious if the Seahawks, with a new offensive coordinator, and we've got a couple of different videos on this, so either go back and rewatch them, or I apologize if I'm starting to do some reruns on this for you. But there's been some talk about how, like, what is the balance going to be? Because Brian Fleury knows the Kubiak system, and he's trying to keep it similar in the base, but then there's going to be these other wrinkles where he's really good at this thing or he's really detail-oriented on that thing. Is it going to be an RPO with Jalen Milroe? Is it going to be more passing because Sharps is out at the... So there's some questions. I'll be curious, like, are we going to commit JSN to just be one thing this season? Is he just going to be wide receiver one all the way out, drawing the targets from people? Is he going to be... Is Darnold comfortable throwing consistently into double coverage to him? Or is he going to be the decoy guy who we take him out, a third of the plays, he's just out there to draw DBs away and give pad to somebody? Like, there's going to be this new ratio and growing pains, obviously, while they figure it out. And I'm not saying that out the gate, number one play, week one, play one, snap one, that it's like, oh, immediately we know what his role is going to be. But I'll be really interested to watch, because if he ends up as a top 100 player, offensive player of the year last year, you got to think that at some point he starts to be the guy on this offense that opposing defenses are going to be game planning for. Going to give him going to give him DB number one. Going to give him double coverage. Going to give him help over the top. So do you fight through that, and do you say, hey, we're still going to get him the ball? Do you move in some wrinkles? Is he going to be running across, doing some pitch, lateral work? Is he going to line up at a wildcat? I'm not trying to get super duper crazy with it, but a paragraph later, the descriptor, I think, in here was perfectly put, calling him an unstoppable force as a playmaker. Obviously, now he's the highest paid player at his position, so he is an expensive, unstoppable force. But it does really beg the question of how high is the ceiling for this guy. I think that the ceiling, given that Darnold is, to me, still in his prime. The offensive line is mostly intact from last season. The rest of the wide receiving core is there, and the injury to Sharps and loss to Kenneth Walker III does have running backs with a question mark next to it, but I think that Price and Helani are going to be good, so the offense as a whole is still cooking and has a lot of playmakers around him, so it isn't like you can just overcommit and just be like, okay, as long as we shut down him, no Jackson Smith and Jigba means that the rest of that offense can't cook and that we win against the Seahawks. So you can't overcommit, which eventually I feel like they're going to get hit. He's going to get his. They're going to get the ball to him. It will be big-time plays throughout the entire season. So maybe a couple of games where we're like, oh, looking at the stat line, like what happened there, he didn't, he was probably going to cause some of us some L's on our fantasy team. But in the grand scheme of things, this still feels like he is a dangerous, dangerous weapon, no matter what the level of preparation opposing teams have for him. That's what I got for you today. Before we get out of here, though, got to say thank you very much, as always, to the sponsor for today's video, and that is Prize Picks. They're America's #1 sports pick app, and the best way to get in on the action. Easy enough for me to say. And right now, if you are a new user, they want to hook you guys up with the code DIGEST. You will get $50 in your lineups from Prize Picks when you play your first 5. It's huge. That's awesome. It helps us out. It helps you guys out. They got a bunch of different great promotions going on. Taco Tuesdays, they're back. They're not going anywhere. All period day, period long, period every Tuesday. Their board is serving up discounted projections. And then to close out the week, they got a Friday boost for you. You can use your Flex Friday boosts to boost your earnings by up to 40%. Get in on the World Cup action. Get in on baseball. There's no more NBA Finals, so you can go over to the Stanley Cup while it's still going on. If you know sports, Prize Picks is there because, like I said, they're America's #1 sports pick app and a sponsor of this video. Thank you very much to them. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.